Hello, Rebel GMan 5G. GMan 5G.
Good start. Good start.
It's fine.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll edit that in post. We won't. There is no post. The post is me renaming the file and then saving it and then uploading it. That's post. Is the file gets renamed? That's the editing.
Blah, blah, blah.
So anyway, welcome 5G to this week's recap. Apologies that we missed last week's, but the kids were off on the Easter holidays, and it was the 5 kids in the house, which just made it impossible. I couldn't go to the missus. By the way, I've just got to go and spend 2 hours recording recaps. She would have murdered me. She's tolerant. She's not that tolerant.
So just so you know, 5G, this is the sort of dedication Metal has to you. He prioritises his family and relationship over you.
Yeah, that being that if I get murdered, I can't record the rest of the season.
That's
Makes
okay.
sense. Missing one better than missing the whole season. Anyway, I'm of course joined by McNugget. He's back,
Hello,
as you
hello,
can tell.
Yes.
I
was here last week. Metal wasn't. Blame him.
Nobody cares. Right.
Well,
we're going to look.
I think a certain coach cares. You'll see in a minute. When
You know what, right? We can look at week 2, but basically, if you actually look at week 1's recap, week 2 had all entirely been played because 5G are bloody eager. So we're going to basically skip over that, and we're going to look at week 3. Tyrion's Trial by Combat took a 1-0 over Destuco Dragons. I still can't pronounce that.
Lagandaria Gabito.
That wasn't bad. I quite like that. Took a 2-0 over the
I don't know if
Rock
it's
Fiends.
correct.
No. Nobody cares if it's correct. You tried, right? Points for trying. It's fine. Drow You See Me took a 2-1 over TR BBL Tryhards. That is, of course, Zinj taking a 2-1 over his mentee. So he probably schooled him in that game.
Zinj taking the high ground.
Hopefully he explained how he was doing it rather than just doing it. Sacrifice the 9th and not sacrificing any 9ths to 1-0 stuff from my fridge. Which is
a bit bare that week.
Which is just getting sillier and sillier as it goes on. And Gut and Run with a 2-0 over the Blazing Whiskers. That is, of course, I believe they're the 2 Skaven teams in the division. Now this leaves us with a mere miracle that Hargrim is at the top of the I don't know how that's happened, and I'm very disappointed in you all.
Who is Hargrim now? Is he just a new coach this week? Because I don't remember his team from last week's recap.
It was Gremzilla.
Oh yeah, that's it, Gremzilla. Yeah.
Right. Demir Nickel sacrificed the 9th, joint top with another 3-0-0. Very impressive start to the season by them both. You know,
Yes,
undefeated in 3 games. That's where the consistency starts to come through a little bit. Is when you start seeing these undefeated runs. Zinj 2-1-0. He's solidly 3rd, and then we've got Bigotillos and Puchulo who are holding the 2-0-1 spot. Rotfiend stuff from my fridge with 1-0-2. Blazing Whiskers 0-1-2, and Destuco Dragons versus the TR BBL Tryhards. Now it is 0-0-3 for them both, but that doesn't mean the season's over and done with.
No, there's a lot of season still left to play.
I mean, that's only after 3 weeks. There's 10 more games. If you go on a 10-0-3 tear, for example, it would be very, very hard to not see you in some form of playoffs because that would be a hell of a result. But of course, you've just got to wait and see what happens. Now we are going to start with the Rotfiends, Tim Picks, and they're still it's the first season Nurgle experience. If you refer back to if you want to know more about the first season Nurgle experience, Tim Picks, you can refer back to last season where we were covering Helgen.
Helgen, yeah.
And his Nurgle, and he was just, he had like 11 weeks where he was just going, I hate this team, I hate this team, I hate this team. Any other team, I would have won that game. Any other team, I would have drawn that game. And it was just loss, and low development. But you know what? Stick with it, mate, because you'll get there. And when they start to get good, Nurgle are really good. But it just...
And really scary to play.
It's finding the momentum.
They're not far away from a nice burst of development though. So we've got 3 out of the 4 warriors.
2 of them are a Kaz which is great.
Yep. One's an MVP away. Mm-hmm. So they're really close to a nice burst of development there.
There's also Pestigor on 5 out of 6 as well, which is good for him. And his Rotters have somehow almost entirely avoided SPP.
Yes, which is also very good. So I mean, I would personally take the opportunity if you're not going to, because sometimes your offensive drive with Nurgle doesn't always work because you've got no skills and 2 rerolls. So if it's unlikely you're going to score, I wouldn't hate dropping back and getting a SPP on Slanagors.
Yeah, just if you
to get the level.
can't see a score coming, at least look for a vanity pass.
Yes, but 30k next priority is definitely going to be that 3rd reroll, and that makes your life
That third
quite a
reroll
lot better.
A game changer, in my opinion.
Because
Really
it means
big
if you're
deal.
playing elves or rats and you don't pick up the ball turn 1, you're not then really needing to pick up the ball turn 2 and then have 1 reroll for the
Hey, look,
to let the next drive.
Right.
Turn.
It's going to be a really short recap because we don't have to talk about Zinja's team.
Oh, Zinch, what have you not done, mate, that you know that you should have done?
I don't even care.
Are we going to punish him? Yeah?
Yeah.
No, we can't, because I really want to talk about the other team that's got levels, because I like them. And I was about to say, I don't want to show favouritism, but it's Zinch, so let's.
Right. Here's the thing, right? When I'm doing my recaps, you already know who you're playing next week. Roll your down levels, right?
Yes.
Roll your levels. Maybe you want to wait to see what TV they are when you finish the game, but you pretty much always know what you're going to take. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have very fixed world views when it comes to team building. But if you don't roll your levels, we don't talk about your Zinj.
Yes,
you know
because we
this.
can't talk about your team because we would just say, look at last week, because nothing's
In fact,
changed.
you know what? I know the exception that we can allow Bigotillos off for. Bigotillos is new and doesn't know our ways. Whereas
So he may be
Zinj,
waiting for advice. Yes.
whereas Zinj
knows our ways. and-
knows how I work. He knows my rules, so he's not getting covered, and it's his own fault. Right?
Zinj isn't. I like to see that Zinj's mentee doing a better job of following that than Zinj.
Maybe it could just because he's got no levels to roll.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
have to- Look,
Bring
right,
that up, Metal, okay?
This
Right.
lizard team, talking about being close to development, there are 3 Saurus, 1 Kaz away, 1 Saurus and MVP away, and a Croxagore 1 Kaz away, and a Skink 1 touchdown away. Basically, their jobs. If these guys do their jobs, other than the MVP, which you can't really control, they're probably going to level next game. They still only have 2 team rerolls because I believe they had to replace a Saurus, which sucks.
They did, because remember, did we not watch this team play the Underworld? And you may say that El Gecko, the Croxagore, is only 1 Kaz away from leveling up, but he's more likely to Kaz himself.
El Gecko the Croxagore is about a season away from level up. He's the worst Croxagore I've ever seen. Me and you watched this game and we were sat on voice chat, just laughing. I cast it. I cast this game on stream.
You, me, and Gerber were on cast,
And I
this,
just
and
loved that both Demir Nickel and Ryan Lamb were like, "Can we get the link to your stream so we can go back?" And I was like, "Don't bother, boys,
Don't watch
bother.
it.
It's not going to help." Because it was just an hour of us laughing at the Croxagore being awful.
I honestly expect El Gecko to roll double skulls into Kazan, getting Kazed and being dead.
And leveling up somebody else off of the double
Yes.
skulls.
Exactly.
But the team's very close to suddenly being... Lizards very much do
They
this.
block. Yeah,
They
they
go
take a
from
while to
being
get to block, and then
Kind of pants, but okay because they've got a lot of strength, to going boom, 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 level. Very good. And I'd like to see boom, 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 level.
boom, 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 yeah. But not El Gecko because he'll die. The only real next target they've got, of course, is picking up that 3rd reroll. Now, obviously, they would have been a lot closer to it. They actually would have been able to get it had they not needed to replace the Saurus.
But, you can't blame the man for that. It's not his fault.
No, I would have took the Saurus over the reroll as well.
Me too. You need Saurus at all times. And also, frankly, very, very good because it increases the chance of MVP landing on a player you give a damn about. Now, speaking of players you give a damn about, it's good old rats, and they have lots of players you give a damn about.
Yes.
Ooh, look at that big hand, 14 out of 16 SPP. Vanity Pass.
Nice, isn't it? And
You know
the
what you do?
throwers 2 away.
Well, not even that. You could use the thrower. Yeah, actually, it's probably safest to use the thrower. Pick it up with the thrower, toss it to the gut runner, who then tosses it to Mine on the next turn, who then tosses it back to the big hand gut runner, who then throws it to the thrower, who then throws it back to Leakamute Squeak. This is your offensive drive planned out, right? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes and a touchdown across 8 turns, and you level 4 very good players. It's easy. What are you waiting for? Get out there and do it.
I would like to point this point. I'm guessing Metal hasn't put a wee diagram up yet of that. You know,
I feel like it'd be that.
you'll put the Scottish subtitles up, but when it comes to showing 5 passes and a touchdown, nah, that's too much effort.
It'd look like a pentagram. I'd end up something like Satan or something. It'd be fine. It'll be fine.
Zinge.
Chuck, what to add his level up.
Yeah.
Not much development on the team, but like I say, it's this division is first. They didn't get Greenhorn, so they've literally played 3 games, and there's a lot of teams in this division that feel like they're on that cusp. They're about to go poof and just get tons of SPP, or because their rats die horribly. Yeah. No one's sad either way, are they? Really? Let's be honest.
No.
I would advise, right? You're on 11 players now. I'd personally, as an ex-rat coach, buy a lineman, because that'll give you a 12th player for next game, and assuming nobody dies, 13 total players. Now, rats, for me, the magic number, and it's not just the whole, it's quite law-based as well, but because of the Council of 13 and things like that, 13 is the sacred number for rats. But actually, it's a really good number to have on the pitch. Like 13, you've got a bench for fouling, you've got a bench to absorb casualties. I like at least 13 rats. That's just me.
I know who they're playing next week, so we'll wait and see if you change that advice next week.
I might.
Well, when you see the schedule.
Speaking of rats, there's a couple on this team. Rideable Llama's Blazing Whiskers. That troll has tentacles. I like it.
Yes,
Felon John has Mighty Blow, Skin Throw with Block, and 2 heads Goblin. There's not much going on. Underworld, much harder to level, but Felon John should start looking after himself, although he was pretty trash last time we saw him in action against the Lizards, wasn't he?
Yeah. Freddy Surgery doing a lot of the work against the Lizards somehow.
He just really did the heavy lifting.
Cars.
Yeah. The troll was beating the snot out of the Lizards left, right and centre. It was beautiful.
Yeah. And then making them roll 1 in 9s when they try to hit him back.
Or making the Crocs of God just go.
Yeah. But no, a lot of nice development, and it's just a stage of getting the development on the positionals for the Underworld, just racking up those SPP over the season and trying to make sure it's goblins that are dying, not blitzers.
You know what I'm going to say? Speaking of goblins dying, buy another goblin. 12 players isn't enough for Underworld. You need a bench to foul and to goblin.
This is another Underworld team without the level 2 stadium or the enhancement.
You really need a bench, or you just lose games in the second half because your team doesn't exist. You need a bench. Buy at least 1, if not 2 goblins. Rideable armor. Trust me. The game just feels better when you have extra players, because you don't have the
stadium.
Shush. The Stuco Dragons are a high elf team who are, they're missing a few people. They've got an anti-5 lineman.
They have.
I kind of
a bit of brutality quite early on, if we remember correctly.
They are missing a blitter, of course.
Yes, still. But no, that's a nice adjunct lineman, and the thrower. I kind of feel at that stage, if you've got the adjunct lineman, the thrower could possibly take leader first level.
Yeah, that wouldn't be terrible. Because you can't afford to buy it anytime soon, because you've got to buy a new blitter at 50k. Yeah. But the AG5 lineman, I would say look for wrestle, look for leap, look for strip ball, and just turn him into an absolute nightmare to deal with.
Exactly. Again, just what I mean. It's just getting SPP on the positionals, and trying to hope that they survive long. Right. I am glad that they bought the apple.
I'm laser focused on the 3 players that are 2 out of 6 SPP. That's vanity pass territory. To push it to 3 out of 6.
Pentagram. Get out the pentagram. Turn one. Who's picking up the ball?
Miri's picking up the ball. He's passing it to Montañez, who's then passing it to Grok, who's then throwing it to the thrower, who just can run around with it and either score a touchdown, or he can then throw it to the blitzer, hands it off back 3 times, and then the blitzer scores. That one I like better.
Easy as you like, yeah.
It's not that easy in a real pitch scenario, but you should, with AG4 teams, throw as many vanity passes as humanly possible early in your season, because it's free it's literally, potentially like 6 to 8 free SPP every game. If I went to you, mate, I can give you 6 free SPP on top of everything else you're going to earn this game. Would you say no? Of course you wouldn't. Don't be silly. You wouldn't.
Are you waiting for me to reaffirm that for you?
No,
Yes,
I mean, I don't need you to reaffirm it because I'm right.
If it's not on a pentagram, it doesn't count.
Stuff from my fridge. They've got a guard beast and Nurgle. They've got a block warrior. They've got a warrior 5 out of 6. That's good news.
They're taking the all apple pies.
All apple pies, maybe.
All sausage and mash, as it's going to be.
Coleslaw's dead, so he has to be fired. You don't keep. I had a minor strength rotter for a while, but the only reason I kept him around was because he had both kick and dirty player. This guy doesn't have either of those things.
No.
And you don't need strength 3 to kick the ball and then run around and kick people in the head.
A loner will do a better job.
But you'd kind of need strength 3 to be a rotter who does nothing but sit on the line, and he doesn't have any skills. Fire him. Useless. Sonadil, you probably keep. He's line fodder because he's minus movement. Unless he's got a niggle, I don't know. It of course to care.
He doesn't have a niggle, he just has smashed ankles.
I checked.
But no, 2 questions on this Nurgle team, Mel. Guard first choice on the beast.
I like it.
Overstand for him.
Right. My argument is what do you have developed warriors? Because beasts are notoriously slow to level. If you've got developed warriors and you've got a couple of guard elsewhere, or you've looked into like a guard rotter or something along the line, then yes, stand firm is the better skill on the beast. But if you have no guard on your team, and you're against teams like lizards and other Nurgle, like for example, Gingerwolf is in this division, guard is better.
And the sausage and mash.
It's got a speed as long as he takes block next level.
With
or
it, yep.
You know what? Actually, maybe
that's the thing now. Now you're in the. Do I take block or do I take claw because it's 4 SPP
you take tackle. Unless you're very specifically against the other Nurgle and heat level ups, you probably take tackle. Because there's
I'm going to say no,
Skaven,
you don't. You take claw or block.
No, there's Skaven, there's lizards, there's
claw or block.
Underworld. Tackle is so good.
Claw or block.
Tackle's so good. Right, Bigotillos, right, mate, right. See this? See what you've done here? See what you've done here where you've got 2 bull centaurs that need leveling. You need to level them before the recap, please. Otherwise, we won't talk about you. We no talk about Timo.
We will let you off with it this week
because you didn't know better. Zinj knew better and chose to avoid that knowledge.
Yes.
Now, assuming these are both normals, it's break, tackle, and block in it. In my mind.
Yes. Or on the block one, take tackle.
I like break tackle too much. I like break tackle.
Depending on your next 3 or 4 games, if you've got the agility teams the next 3 or 4 games, I would take tackle and use them as a sweeper to go after any gutter runners that try to sneak through, any goblins that try to sneak through. Of course,
if you don't have break tackle, they just stick a lineman on you, and what do you do?
Well, you just kill the lineman. You're a bull centaur.
Well, you killed the Batman, of course.
I played Chops last season, and I did take the tackle bull centaur after block.
No, it worked. It worked for you. I
it worked really well.
In general, prefer the extra mobility allowed by break tackle, but that's me.
That's true.
You can see your man is moving on. You've made your point. Tackle.
No, that's it.
I'm vetoing it. Right. He's 10k away from a reroll, which is a really good spot to be in. That's a guaranteed reroll, assuming nothing dies. He's got a 5 out of 6 and a 4 out of 6 on his blockers, so they're 1 Kaz each away. Everyone else a bit further. What I would ask you, as someone who we've both played Chaos Dwarfs quite a bit, but I think you've played them more than me at this point now.
Yeah.
If they're doubles, do you take on the blocker?
No.
You take dodge, right? Because blodge bull centaurs are really good.
On the bull centaurs, if the block one is a double, yes, I would take dodge.
If it's a double on the second one, you ignore it, though, right?
I wouldn't, because the first one will carry you to do what you need it to do to be that utility piece.
Okay, what if it's a stat?
Movement, yes.
Strength always.
Strength, yes. Agi, I personally don't waste it because if it's
Agi,
unless you get dodge, you're not getting the benefit of the Agi, and Agi is then only good for carrying with them.
Yeah, you relegate yourself back to a carrier. And,
and that's a waste of a build centaur.
I'd rather get Agi on a hobgoblin if possible, because Agi 4 is so much better than Agi 3.
Yeah, that's possible. So I would take movement, I would take strength. If it was already blodge, I would take the Agi, because strength 4 for break tackle, Agi 3 for dodge is crazy good.
Yeah.
If it's Agi first level, I wouldn't take it, because I hate carrying on bulls, and the waste of a skill and the bloat for turning that 4+ handoff into a 3+ isn't worth it, in my opinion.
Music's spiced up a bit in the background, I like that. Right, I think we've covered everything there. We're going to move on to the final team, which is Mosh Ninja's TRBBL Tryhards.
Yep.
And they have a leader catcher.
Good, because remember they got stuck on the one reroll and the war dancer that was crippled, and we were wondering.
Actually, I don't hate that. You know what I also wouldn't hate? We're going to say it again. Vanity passes.
Right, get out the pentagram.
No, there's only 2 of them, mate. Right, it's pretty simple. You take the war dancer.
There's 3 passes.
No,
war dancer to
Poisonwood
Castle. Yeah. Linemen to other linemen to run in the score.
Yeah, that easy. 2 passes. We don't need the pentagram this time. It's easy. Easy.
It's a straight line from
Mosh Ninja. It's been a hard start to the season. Right, you're still serving for a war dancer. 40k off your next game. You get that war dancer before you do anything else. The second war dancer is so key. But I would say stick with it, because Wood Elves are still capable of nonsense. Don't give up hope. And definitely Vanity Pass with that war dancer as a minimum, if not the lineman as well.
Definitely, yes.
I can't say any more than that, really, because there's not much more to talk about, but don't give up hope. What else are really good? Now, we're going to go over to the
tipping comp.
The bit everyone's been waiting for. We're going to see how people are doing in the tipping comp. And you know what, right? We were saying about people going back and editing their scores to make sure you got perfect scores in the first round. There was 4 of us who didn't, and one of them was me and another one was McNugget, so let's just go with that.
Sadly, we cannot fight against the bot that is Zinj. Maybe if Zinj spent more time levelling his players and less time working out the odds on his picks, he'd get more of a recap.
Credit where it's due, Hargrim and Damu Nickel are both doing well at 9 total points as well. You
Benzilla,
and Ginger for an 8. Well. Me and Pachulo are 7, and JJ Cash showing that he might be able to roll level ups. Well, you can get that Agi in the bank, but he can't tip for nonsense. 1 pointer this round. That's not the best, is it?
Yeah, but neither is the fact that JJ Cash isn't in this division.
Yeah, that's the bigger thing is, what are you even doing here, JJ Cash? This isn't your tipping comp. Get out. I think I can remove him, for what it's worth.
No, just keep him there as punishment and shame.
Shame
if you're getting out-tipped by a guy that's not in your division, shame.
Yeah, mate, you've got your own tipping comp. Stop using other people's. Right. We're going to take our tips of the week. See if we can beat Zinj again. Stuco Dragons taking on TRBBL Tryhards. Now this should be a flurry of vanity passes, and that's the week 9. What the hell? It's on the thing again. Week 3, week 4. Sorry. Legandaria Agapito versus Gut and Run.
Chors. I'm always with my Chors brethren.
It is a tough one for the Scave and that one, isn't
it? Another reason to take that tackle on the bull.
It's fair. TRBBL Tryhards versus Blazing Whiskers. Now this could be brutal for the TRBBL Tryhards, because Blazing Whiskers
has Mighty Blow.
And he's showing a propensity for fouling. However, also, Wood Elves are really good, especially War Dancers, at beating the snot out of goblins.
True, but he also does have the Tentacles Troll on the Blazing Whiskers.
I feel like you're talking me into it. I think I've got to give that on the Blazing Whiskers. But if the tree does work, or the War Dancers work, just look for the vanity passes. That's what you're there for, Mosh Ninja. Look for the vanity passes. Now, this should be a tougher one. Tyrion's Trial by Combat. We didn't even look at that team. I was going to go back and look at the end and completely forgot.
We're not, though. That's the thing. We're this far down. It's funnier now. Sorry,
you know what? I'm going to quickly.
Not sorry.
I can't tip this game.
You're such a wuss.
I can't tip this game without seeing the team. Right? He's got nothing. It's nothing worth talking about. He's got dodge on a blitzer. Nobody cares. Yeah, 2 blocks.
Go look at his position 7 and tell me if you want to look at his team and talk about it.
Screw him.
Yep.
You know what? Right. You know what? I'm giving it to Sacrifice the Ninth. This is a huge game. Like, taking away all of the other
Somebody takes the lead,
fun. Yeah, this is for the top of the table. This is for the big ticket. This is the big ticket match of the week.
So it's going to be a draw.
Whoever wins takes top of the table if they win. If it's a draw, they're boring, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's going to be a draw then.
Right. Now, Drow You See Me taking on the Rot Fiends.
Yeah.
This is such a hard game for the Nurgle. But Wood Elves are super squidgy. So honestly, if you lose Rot Fiends, lose over the corpses of the elves. Zinjing, I like me saying that. He's not gonna like that one, but
I mean, at least it'll save him having to forget to roll level ups if they're all dead.
Nice level up, idiot. Boom.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's one of those games where you just maximise your blocks and probably lose as Nurgle early. Yeah. Wood Elves are just horrible. Now, speaking about the first season Nurgle experience, stuff from my fridge are taking on a higher. You know what? I'm giving it to the elves again. I can't not. It's, you know what, right? If you want advice,
I think this might be. I don't think this is that simple. I actually think Ginger Will's going to take this one personally. He does have the guard. He's got a block warren. He's got mighty blow on the sausage. But the elves are struggling a bit. They don't have a lot of skills in the bank themselves. And
I'm just gonna copy paste my response to Rot Fiends and point upwards. You remember what I said? Stuff from my fridge. Go back and see what I said about the Rot Fiends versus Drow You See Me. That's my advice.
I believe, Ginger Wolf. I believe.
Now, quick heads up, right? The tipping will be closed 12 hours ish from publication of this video, about midnight tonight, my time, which is GMT +1. I'm in the UK, as you can probably tell from the accent. So when I get back from the movies, because I'm telling you,
probably tell from the thing. Oh, because that French part of your voice is really confusing me.
I know, right? It's you know, if they can hear any accent over the Scottish, they're hearing Scottish and going accent alert. Yeah, I'm telling everyone who listens that I'm off to see Avengers tonight. So when I get back from Endgame, I will close tipping. So you've got about 12 hours to get your tips in. If you haven't
say
already,
12 hours. It'll be 12 hours from now, but not necessarily 12 hours from when this VOD gets
It'll
uploaded.
be 12 hours from publication of the video, roughly. It'll be going up about midday, because I'll set up to process as soon as we finish recording. So, yeah. JJ Cash, what are you doing, man?
Piss off. Piss off, JJ.
I love you, man, but what are you doing? What are you doing? Right. Anyway, best of luck to all the coaches.
Yes.
Have a good one. Get some. You know what we're gonna say?
Get some SGP.
Get some vanity passes. Roll your levels. Get some vanity passes.
And take your levels.
And tip.
Zinj.
Tip. Right. We'll see you. Thank you once again, Nugget, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I'm looking forward to how this week pans out. I'm really interested to see what happens between Tyrion's Trial by Combat and Sacrifice the Ninth. Hargrim, by the way, has been messaging me every week going, I'm playing at this time if you want to cast my match. And I keep going, you know what, I do, kind of, but...
Not really.
Last week was Easter, it was never happened, so...
Hargrim, if you put your match in for Monday or Tuesday next week, I'm off work. Metal doesn't do anything.
If you put it in for Tuesday, it's not going to happen because I'm playing my game on Tuesday.
But you don't. One game doesn't take all day. So Monday, put it in then, or Tuesday when it's not Metal's game, we'll cast it and laugh at you.
Maybe.
No, that's the only guaranteed part.
See you all next week, GMan 5G. Stay classy, folks.
Goodbye.